everyone, and welcome to another episode of Justin and the Food Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. Happy holidays. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Upcoming holidays are going well. Today, I have with us Kim Engstrom of Colorado Jack, and she is the owner with her husband, Brian. And I want to tell everyone a little bit about how she came to be on the podcast. But first, I just wanted to thank everyone again, give everyone a little background because everyone always asks. I am a food service and beverage entrepreneur. We manage over $100 million in food production across the country. So that's sort of my background. I don't want to dive too much into myself. I know people ask, but that's the gist. And why I do the podcast is because I want to give back for everything I've done. So I want to help other food and beverage entrepreneurs and nutrition entrepreneurs tell their stories and help other people learn from them. So Kim and Brian are the owners, and I met them, or should I say Deborah met them, walking through Denver Airport. Deborah was referring to their product at one of the newsstands there, or I guess it would be called a mini mart or whatever they call them in airports. That's a good question. She sort of said, oh, we should get the popcorn. And then Kim said, you absolutely should. And then Deborah's like, oh, have you tried it? And she's like, no, I'm the owner. So from there, we sort of connected and are now doing the podcast. So Kim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's cold here in North Dakota, but it's going well.
I know, which was one of the first things I ever said to Kim when we talked on the phone is that you're in North Dakota, but you have a product called Colorado Jack. So I found that to be a good story, which I don't actually even know yet because I asked her to hold off for the podcast. So Kim, tell me a little bit about how and your husband came to be food entrepreneurs and a little bit of what your background is.
So my husband is a fourth generation North Dakota farmer, and he also owns edible bean processing plants in North Dakota. So like black beans, pinto beans, things like that. He takes them into his facility and cleans them, and then they package them and ship them all over the world, actually. So about 5 years ago, he and another guy, North Dakota farmer, who does the same thing with the bean processing plants, they had an opportunity to buy a facility in Holyoke, Colorado. They were looking to expand into the retail market, and there was some packaging available with this purchase of this plant. So they got ownership of the plant and started going out there, to try to get things running the way they wanted, and realized that they also had a line of raw popcorn, which none of us knew anything about. So my husband kept bringing me back 50-pound bags of raw popcorn. He's like, so this is like part of our new adventure. So we would just kind of pop it on the stove the old-fashioned way, and started realizing that it was like really, really good popcorn just with nothing on it. It was, delicious. So looking to diversify a little bit, we started a ready-to-eat popcorn line, hired a chef and got some flavors down, and that's how Colorado Jack started.
So, I love this story, and one of the things that anyone who knows popcorn knows that I believe, if I'm correct, that it's I want to call it a mushroom kernel, but maybe I'm wrong. The name's slipping me, but there's a certain type of kernel that you guys use for your popcorn.
We do. We use a mushroom. There's like mushroom and snowflake or butterfly. It's different. People call it different where you're located. But the mushroom type pops more like a mushroom cap. So it stands up to the coating process better. It's a heartier crunch. It's not as doesn't flake off like your movie theater popcorn. Or sometimes if you get popcorn, you notice there's lots of broken off pieces in the bottom of the bag. So that's what the mushroom popcorn doesn't do. You can toss it and coat it, do all sorts of things to it, and it really holds up well. So that's kind of why we went with the mushroom popcorn.
And so, Kim, obviously it's a higher quality, in my opinion, and Deborah would be better at this. Obviously, she's the one scouting out the popcorn in the store at the airport, so we all know who's the actual popcorn connoisseur in our relationship. So, Kim, one of the cool things I like about your product is the packaging and, the names, and obviously the name Colorado Jack. So tell us a little bit about how you guys came up with the packaging and the different flavors and sort of the process you guys go through to develop those things as not only a husband and wife, but also business partners.
So when we were thinking about how we wanted our brand to look, we thought a lot about the popcorns that we saw around, and we kind of really wanted to go with more of a masculine feel to the packaging, kind of hearty, and then our flavors would reflect that. So, the iron skillet and the hardwood and the red cowboy hat, that was kind of what we were going to go with our branding. And then we were going to use really high quality ingredients to have a lot of flavor, and then some kind of different flavors. We went with the sea salt and butter, which is like your movie theater kicked up a notch. We have a wonderful white cheddar with a real sharp white cheddar flavor. Our white cheddar jalapeno is amazing. It's not that hot stuff that you can't keep eating because it's too hot in your mouth. It just has the right amount of heat and a great jalapeno flavor. And our caramel is probably the best caramel you'll ever taste. It's a traditional caramel recipe made in small batches with butter, sugar, vanilla, and a pinch of salt, and that's it. And then our Colorado mix, we were kind of doing a take on the Chicago mix, but we wanted to do our mix with a little kick in it. So we did the white cheddar jalapeno and caramel mixed together, so you get sweet, salty, and spicy all in one bite. So that's kind of how we developed our brand and our flavors. And our name, since the popcorn is grown in Colorado and the facility that we own there is called Jack's Bean, we wanted to pay tribute to the farmers who've been bringing their product into that plant since 1932. So we went with the name Colorado Jack as kind of a tribute to those farmers who've been doing what they do for all those years.
And I actually love that. And the story for sure is like, well, and we live in Colorado, so that helps. But, and our love for Colorado. But I think it's just so cool how the whole thing tied together. I mean, was it something that took a long time to figure out, or is it something that just sort of organically came naturally to you guys to figure out the flavors and the branding and the masculinity and the name?
It's taken it always takes a while to get things going. My husband always jokes that as long as they tell you it's going to take, you can count on twice as long for that to happen. But we're really both on the same page, and we really like the idea of, what we saw out in the market wasn't anything like we're doing. So we really felt, compelled to go our way and stick to what we wanted to do. And we've been involved in every step of the process, from name, packaging, flavors. We both know how to make every flavor of the popcorn. We've done it all. It's just been kind of something that's our little baby that we're taking care of here. So it's been a real great adventure.
And so where can people find you online? We've talked about your different product lines, but where can people sort of find you guys online and social media?
So online, you can look us up at ColoradoJackPopcorn.com, and you can order off the website and everything. Our Instagram, my stepdaughter, she's in charge of all our social media, so I should have had her in on that part. But I know, we're at Colorado Jack Popcorn on Facebook, and Instagram, I'm sure, is probably the same thing. But go check us out. It's we're a family business. Almost all the members of our family are involved in this business, so we're involved in every aspect.
Well, whoever's doing the social media on Instagram is doing well. I just looked you guys up just so I make sure we had it right, and you're exactly right. It's at Colorado Jack Popcorn. But I love the photos, and the whoever's doing it, they're doing a great job. And the other thing I love, and we've had another company on here that does it, that just, you guys have a map that's actually tracking each state that now orders your product. So anyone listening in the audience, you should go to their Instagram account and look at all the states they've gone to and all the states they have left. And if you're in one of the states that they have left, you should be the first person in that state to try their popcorn for sure. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. So, Kim, I mean, let's really dive into some of being the business. I mean, what if, you've launched this product, and obviously your husband's been an entrepreneur with the farming and the beans, but, this one you're going directly to consumer and you're building a product for retail also. So tell us a little bit about some of the hardships and things that you've learned along the way.
Oh, how much time do you have, Justin?
As long as you want.
It's been, we've definitely had our share of downs with the ups. We've learned some really valuable lessons. When we first started with our packaging, we had a clear window in the front of our bag. It was a different style bag, and we quickly learned that that clear window was not good for shelf life. We had shelf life issues from the UV light and heat, and so we ended up having to start a whole new process of designing a new bag and having a new material. And the new bag is what you see now, and that's a metallized bag, and it added a ton of shelf life to the product to keep it fresh and tasting great a lot longer. But we were able to salvage our other bags because we're using them with our fundraising program. The difference there is once we get the product to the home, they're responsible for keeping it, out of the light or away from the heat. So we found another use for those bags. But we're proud of our packaging. We were, in on that whole process. Co-packers was another trial we had that didn't go so well. We wanted to try to eliminate some of the shipping costs. North Dakota is kind of the middle of nowhere. We're at, actually the geographical center of North America is in our backyard here. So in trying to save on shipping costs, we tried to do with some co-packing, and we found that with the quality of product we feel that we have, nobody was doing it the way we really wanted it done, and we had some real disasters. So we quit doing that and kind of took matters into our own hands. So we're actually in the process of getting a facility up and running here in our hometown of Devils Lake, North Dakota, which will have major capabilities. When we, get into some of those major chains, we'll be able to keep up with production. So we're pretty excited about that.
And explain to me that, and I know there's probably other hardships, but I want to sort of talk about that a little bit. I mean, it's not easy to get into retail. I mean, how long has it taken and how have you found that experience, and do trade shows work? I mean, tell us, the audience, a little bit about that, because I think that's a really hard thing to do for people and food entrepreneurs is, have the, should I say, perseverance to really ride out those relationships till they get into the stores.
It is a process, and I'm glad you mentioned the trade shows, because that's one of the number one ways we've really gotten out in front of people is we've gone, and we continue to go to some of the real big shows to meet with buyers and get our product, our brand, our name out in front, and especially our flavors out in front of the people who are making the decisions for those buyers. That's helped. And like you said, it's perseverance, because there's times where I'm like, oh, is this really all worth it? But, we were just, when we saw you guys in the airport, we were on our way back from Vegas. We were doing a road show at a large chain there, and it's still fun to go, all over the country. And when people try your product and say, that's the best I've ever had, my husband and I kind of look at each other and say, okay, it's worth it. Because then that what you're doing it's good. It's good. We're not making a mistake with the approach we're taking. So it's a lot of traveling, a lot of hard work, a lot of filling up little sample cups with popcorn, but, we hope it's worth it. So
I know, and the thing in food, really, and a lot of people that aren't in the food industry, it's not, social media is a great thing, but food and beverage, people have to taste it. People have to
Oh,
put it
yeah.
in their mouth, and it's hard to get that to happen. You know, I know online stores and everything's really a big thing for people, but it's still like, okay, I need to figure out how to get people to taste it, because word of mouth, literally, you know, it's the taste in the mouth that leads to the word of mouth in food, and it's how do you get it to as many as people as possible that are in positions to buy your product in the retail scenario, for example. And the only way to do that I know of effectively, and get the most bang for your buck, is exactly that. It's still the trade shows. It's still the, you know, the snack and whatever shows and the fancy food shows and things like that. And they cost money. I mean, they're a big investment and it's a big risk, but it's the only way to do it, in my opinion, to really build a brand and get it out there. And so that being said, you know, we tell people we work with, and you guys have done this, which is why I want to say the thing, is you really got to make sure everything's buttoned up, your packaging, your product, the flavor profile, you've got the right, you know, different flavors in place, and then deliver a product to go there, because you may never get a shot in front of some of these people again. So
You're absolutely correct. I wish my husband was on here to talk to you, because you guys sound a lot alike. But it's right. You know that you hit everything really right on the head there. It's getting that chance to get people to taste it, and then you're right. It's gotta be good when they put it in their mouth. You're not going to get another chance.
And don't worry, you could probably ask anyone who's been on the show that about every so often they get a text message or an Instagram message from it being, "Oh, you ready to record part 2?" And so, so I want to give him the opportunity, obviously, to do that. So, and tell his sort of thing. And I'm interested in the farms, and that's all part of the food story as well. So I'm sure he has a very interesting angle on the perspective of going from farm, you know, to a retail product, even though they're not directly related, but, you know, they're related in a lot of ways. So I mean, maybe you guys do corn as well, but you said it came from Colorado. So I'm assuming that he does beans and the corn comes from Colorado and Nebraska.
Yeah, the popcorn is grown out in Colorado. We can't grow popcorn in North Dakota. The growing season isn't long enough. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's a total thing right there. That is just so cool. It's like there is this obstacle for you guys, and you choose to go through the obstacle anyway and just find out a different way to have the popcorn. You don't need to grow it where you're from. You can grow it somewhere else and create it there. So I noticed on your website, Kim, that you guys do a lot of fundraising and help do that. I mean, tell us about that and why you guys decided to go that route.
So our fundraising program is called the Colorado Jack Give Back Program. And I'll just kind of give a little background on how that got started. My son was born with epilepsy and had brain surgery, and so he's been in care since he was probably 8 years old at a residential facility, and he's doing really well. He's just mostly it's behavioral issues that he has, and with the farming industry, it's really a generational thing. It's passed down, usually to the, I don't want to be sexist, but usually to the son. The next son takes over, and my husband was, always like, Colin won't be able to take over the farm. It just won't be something for him. And so we really wanted a way that we could have him involved in the stuff that we were doing. And he's living at a facility now where we actually have our little fundraising popcorn plant set up, and it's providing work activity for Colin and other individuals at this facility, the Open Door Center, to provide work activity for them. And it's the coolest thing is that it's such a win-win situation. When people do our fundraiser to make money for their cause, they are getting a wonderful product, and it's helping provide work activity for individuals who might not otherwise have opportunities to do jobs like this. And we're super proud of this part of our program. And I hope that if anybody's listening, you go to the Colorado Jack Give Back website and watch the video, and it'll explain a lot more about our fundraising program. But we've always had the mindset of giving back. I mean, we've been very fortunate. We're very lucky to be able to do the things we do, and we feel blessed to be able to be involved in this. And also, we're big with Make-A-Wish, and we have Giving Hearts Day in North Dakota. So it's just always been something that my husband and I are very passionate about doing. So I'm glad I got a chance to talk about that. And please check out the Give Back website. It's pretty incredible.
And so, I mean, there's a couple ways, right? One is a person comes to you and they can become part of the fundraising, and they do their own fundraising where they can raise money for their sports team or their school or so on and so forth. But on the other side of it is you're helping out the community center or the residential center, that your son is in by providing work activities to help, in their growth and in their environment and better their lifestyle, which I think it's a total altruistic solution. It's giving back in both directions.
Oh, it's, absolutely. In our journey, as Cullen started to the age of 21, and we started, hearing other parents of kids and everyone's always worried about what are they going to do after they're done with school, and Cullen's options were so limited, and to be able to do this and to provide to some of these individuals is just, I get choked up because I can't. It's a worry for all parents, but when you're a parent of a child with special needs, the worry is even larger. So it's just an amazing adventure.
It's a great thing that you guys are doing. I think obviously there's the whole popcorn sign and creating a business and jobs and opportunities and doing all of that through the one side, and then on the give back side, there's just this whole thing where you're benefiting society also and helping people, one, because you've been through it so you understand what it's like, but number two, you're giving other people to help themselves and the things they care about through fundraising, but also indirectly doing the right thing by using resources that you guys are setting up for them to also help out people. And I think it's a brilliant concept, in my opinion, that it's just totally well-rounded and it makes sense. And it's, why not have people that need that stimulation do this in order to do the fundraising for someone else, and then it's a total give back all directions. So great name. I think the Colorado Jacks giveback.com again is just a brilliant name, and it's so well-rounded and well thought out, and that's an amazing thing you guys are doing. So I'm getting choked up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the chance to get to talk about it because it's really part of our hearts, so it means a lot.
And I got to pull myself together here. I just wow, and that it's an amazing story, and I really enjoy it. And I'm having trouble getting for words because I'm a little emotional because it's just so kind and caring and thoughtful. And I wish more people would do stuff like that for sure, especially in their businesses because they have the opportunity to do so.
Well, and that's kind of like our bigger picture as we hope. The popcorn is amazing. These individuals do the best work you could imagine. And, the big picture is hopefully other companies and corporations and people see that there is so much value out there in providing these opportunities, and that's what we really hope for.
So Kim, as we sort of start to wrap this up, I want to talk about what you just said, but I want to tie it a little bit into like leading into the future as a business and what you guys see as a future, because I think part of being entrepreneur and where Deborah and I have found our successes and my family has found its successes is that it's about more than just, profit. It's about creating jobs. It's about bettering people's lives. It's about leading them to a better future. But it sounds like you're very similar in those ideas. So tell us a little bit about what the future holds for you guys, and what your dreams are for the future. And
oh boy, well, I guess our hope is that we are going to be a nationally recognized brand someday, that our little red hat on our package is a symbol that people, associate, oh, that's Colorado Jack. That's what, we've always wanted to build this brand. I mentioned earlier that we're opening up this production facility in our hometown here. It's also a bean packaging facility. So like I mentioned, the dry beans, the pinto beans, kidney beans, black beans, we're also packaging those for retail. So my husband is just he's just really a go-getter. He saw an opportunity to figure out some freight advantages. Beans are heavy and popcorn is light, and he's hoping you can get both products into a store, and then you save on freight in the shipping of the products. And we hope to be a national brand, and that's our goal. And we will always have our ties to the Open Door Center doing our fundraising and our online and our bulk orders. That's going to be where we have them. And as our company grows, hopefully that grows and that continues to add more and more jobs for the individuals with disabilities. We're planning on riding this thing out and seeing where it takes us, and I hope it takes us to great places.
And thank you again, Kim, for sharing that. And I can already tell we're probably going to get people wanting to have your husband on and talk about the bean processing and the farming, because everyone's always interested in that as well. So I hope you guys will come back on the show soon, and we can really dive more into some of this stuff and have your husband on and set up a time that works for him as well. But thank you. And I really love your guys' story and the give back for sure.
Well, thank you for having me, Justin. It was my pleasure.
And again, anyone, it's Colorado Jack Popcorn, no S. I've accidentally said the S. It's Colorado Jack Popcorn. And you can find it at coloradojackpopcorn.com. You can also find them at Colorado Jack Popcorn on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you, everyone, for listening in. Enjoy your week. And thank you again, Kim, for being on the show.
Thanks, Justin.